right. So yes, thank you everyone for joining today. My name is Laura Santner, and I'm a therapist at SkinPick and TrickStop. Today, we wanted to explore how your sleep patterns may affect your BFRB. Now, I am certainly not a sleep expert, but I thought that this would be a really good topic for us all just to explore and figure out and see what we could learn. Okay. Hopefully, the technology will be in our favor. Okay, next screen. Hello, next screen. Give it a moment. Oh, here we go. Okay, so for today, I just wanted to go over our basic structure. So we are going to be exploring the science behind sleep, stress, and mental health. And then how sleep difficulties affect urges. We're definitely going to be going over lots of practical strategies to improve sleep and to reduce urges. And then we're going to take a closer look at bedtime routines and sleep hygiene. Okay. And as I mentioned before, we're going to have a time at the very end for questions and answers. Okay. So the science behind sleep, stress, and mental health. So um, basically, brain activity fluctuates during sleep, right? So it increases and it decreases during different sleep stages. And that's what makes up the sleep cycle. So each stage plays a role in our brain health. It allows the activity in the different parts of our brain to kind of ramp up or ramp down and help with better thinking and learning and memory. So sufficient sleep, especially during um, rapid eye movement or REM. So that's what helps the brain process all of this emotional information from the day. So during sleep, the brain works to kind of evaluate what's going on, remembering thoughts and memories. So lack of sleep becomes harmful to this process. It impairs this process. This influences mood and emotional reactivity, and it's actually tied to mental health disorders and their severity. So, what's interesting is that previously it was believed that sleep problems were a symptom of mental health disorders, but actually, there's this bi-directional relationship between sleep and mental health. So, sleeping patterns, sleeping problems may be both cause and consequence of mental health problems. So basically, I have this little chart here, and you can kind of start anywhere on the chart. So, stress and worry, for example, if you're feeling stressed, feeling worried, that will lead to a decline in mental health, right? And starting to feel really not good, and then have difficulties falling asleep or staying asleep, right? But you can also start this cycle of having difficulty sleeping and then it leading to feelings of fatigue, difficulties focusing, stress, and worry. So as you see, it's this kind of cycle, and you can start anywhere in this circle. So poor or insufficient sleep increases negative emotional responses to stressors. And decreases positive emotions, right? So if you haven't noticed already, when you don't sleep well, maybe you're feeling a little bit more grumpy, right? You get frustrated more easily, and you have a hard time managing all of those emotions. The amount of sleep that you get impacts how you're processing daily events and how you're able to regulate your emotions and your behaviors. Sleep helps to maintain all of your cognitive skills. So, um, if you're not getting enough sleep, that's going to affect your attention, your learning, your memory, right? So poor sleep makes it very difficult to cope with minor stressors that might impact your ability to perceive the world accurately. So you might not be able to problem solve as well. Um, you're not going to be able to think as clearly to figure out what you want to do next. How do you want to handle this problem? Um, and it greatly impacts. Not getting enough sleep or poor quality of sleep again increases this risk for mental health disorders. Or if you have a mental health disorder, right, it exacerbates symptoms. Okay. I'm sure some of you have already experienced that and can agree. Yeah. So, what are the sleep recommendations? So, the amount of necessary sleep does vary depending on your age. So, children and teens do need more sleep than adults. If you have a teenager and wondering why are they in bed all the time, it's because they need it. They need that extra sleep. So, the American Academy of Sleep and Medicine, they recommend that adults sleep at least 7 hours on a regular basis, and this is what promotes optimal health and functioning. Um, Most adults kind of range between the 7 to 9 hours. Teens typically need 8 to 10 hours. I would say probably more closer to the 10. And older adults, 65 and older, between 7 and 8 hours. Besides the amount of sleep that we get, it's also important to have good quality of sleep. I wanted to ask you guys, let me see if I could figure this out. I wanted to ask you guys, if you can see this, how much sleep do you get at night? Oh, all right. Yeah. Answers are coming in. Yeah. So bunch of people less than 5 hours. I see the majority 5 to 7. Okay, not bad, not bad. Um, and some 7 to 9. The majority is 5 to 7 hours. So, okay, we got 60% of you guys 5 to 7 hours, about 33% 7 to 9 hours. 35%. Yeah, the numbers are changing a little bit as people are, more people are joining. And about 13% less than 5 hours. Oh, we got like 3% 10 plus hours. Okay, so this is like a good thing just to kind of be aware of it and keep in mind. Okay, thank you for answering that. Now it's gonna take a minute for the next slide to go. This keeps freezing a little bit on us. Um, but as we're waiting for it to move forward, it seems like a lot of people are within that 5 to 7 range. So I hope we can kind of think about how we can get it closer to the 7 range if you're an adult, right? 7 to 9. Oh, okay, here we go. So how do sleep difficulties affect urges? Okay, so there is very limited research about sleep and BFRBs. We need so much more. So, with the very limited research that's there and that I was able to find, it suggests that there is a direct relationship between sleep deprivation and self reported stress and anxiety. And stress and anxiety is a really big BFRB trigger. It's not the only trigger, of course, but it's related. Inadequate sleep shows a relationship with emotional dysregulation and impaired impulse control. So, when you're not getting enough sleep, it's harder to manage all of those feelings. And by impulse control, it's going to be harder to have the energy and the motivation to keep your hands down, right? So, studies show a link between poor sleep quality and the severity of hair pulling and skin picking. It was interesting that a particular study actually showed more of a bigger link with severity of hair pulling than with skin picking. I find that very interesting um, and a little puzzling because I would think that they would be about the same. So I'm definitely interested in there being more research on this topic. But overall, these studies do suggest that poor quality of sleep is associated with stress and impulsivity, two very relevant domains in understanding our BFRBs. So basically, poor quality or amount of sleep decreases your overall energy, right? And so that makes it more difficult to manage urges. When you have really low energy, you're not going to want to fight or manage. You're just going to give in because you're too tired. Um, Poor quality or amount of sleep increases anxiety and decreases emotional regulation. So, again, anxiety is a really big trigger, and you're going to have a harder time managing all of those emotions, and you're going to give in. Okay. Increases urges, right? Makes it more difficult to manage. Okay. Poor quality or amount of sleep impairs the ability to think clearly and makes it more difficult to problem solve and utilize coping skills when urges arise. So again, you're going to be so tired that you're not going to be able to think and process, okay, well, what's causing this urge right now? How am I feeling? What's happening? What do I want to do about it? You're not going to think any of that. You're just going to be like, I'm tired. I'm going to pick. I'm tired. I'm going to pull. So poor quality or amount of sleep can become this cycle, right? So BFRBs can keep you up late at night, right? If you're kind of getting stuck in the bathroom, stuck in the mirror, it's going to cause you to go to sleep later and later and later. When you go to sleep later and later and later, you wake up, you're tired. What happens when you're tired? You have more urges. You're going to pick or pull more, and you're going to have a harder time managing that. So it becomes this cycle. So I want to go over some practical strategies. Okay. And we have a bunch here. Okay, so I have a lot here. We're going to go over each one, and I'm sure there's even more than this. All right, but these are some strategies just to get you started. So mindfulness practice. So what I mean in particular for mindfulness practice when trying to relax and go to sleep, I'm thinking of using your senses. So relaxing in bed and really helping to focus on what do you see around the room? What do you hear? Right? What do you feel? How does the bed feel? How does the blanket feel? Um, any smells? Do you have any incense going on? So really paying attention to your surroundings. What that's going to do is it's going to help you really focus on the here and the now. And if any of those thoughts start coming in, which they do at night, right? You're going to notice the thoughts, no judgment, notice the thought, hello, thought, and then go back to your mindfulness. I'm going to think about you tomorrow. Right now, I am really liking how this blanket feels on my body, right? Mindfulness, rephrasing thoughts. So, nighttime is a time when all of those thoughts kind of come rushing to you, right? They start racing at night, and you start thinking about how the day went. Were you frustrated? Were you happy? Were there things you didn't get done? Are you unhappy with interactions? What are you going to do tomorrow? Oh my gosh, I have this whole long list. So all of those thoughts start happening at night. Of course, right? When we're trying to relax. So what do we do? So noticing those thoughts and then practicing to rephrase them. So for example, um, oh man, I shouldn't have said that or done that today. I can't believe I did that. Right? That's maybe a common thought that people have at night. So a way to rephrase that is I I notice that I'm feeling bad about what happened today. Um, maybe tomorrow I can do something differently. I'm going to try to do something differently tomorrow. Um, maybe I'll say something to try to make amends, depending on the situation, right? So um, I, I notice that I'm feeling this. So kind of taking a step back from those thoughts to give yourself a little distance so you can kind of think about it clearly and problem solve. Stretching. Stretching is a really great thing to do right before bed, right? I mean, even throughout the day. If you're stretching and moving around during the day, you're going to feel less tense and tight at night. So if you can, pay attention to that as well during the day. But at night, yeah, let's do a little stretch. Right, stretch, shake it out, maybe. Okay, and um, yeah, relax. Relax. See where your body has tension and go in that direction. Okay. You can also massage, right? Massage as you're stretching and breathing. There are so many different breathing techniques. I like to do just the basic breathing techniques. Breathing in and breathing out. And really focusing on your breath. I'm breathing in. I'm breathing out. Okay. Um, Along with breathing, I don't have it here, but you can also do counting. It's another mindfulness related to mindfulness, relating to breathing, just to really focus in on something. I really like body scans at night. Um, it's a really nice way to relax and pay attention to how your body is feeling. So you're kind of going through the different parts of your body and um, thinking about and noticing how if there's tension and you're going through everything, start with like the tip of your toes and work your way up. Usually what happens is you wind up falling asleep in the middle of it. And that's great because the purpose is to relax. And if there is any tension that you notice, kind of send your energy to that part of the body. Okay. Another strategy that I think people often overlook or don't want to talk about is masturbation. It's actually a really great way to release tension, to relax your body, does something with your hands. Um, so it's a great one that you can consider. Okay. Unwinding by reading or journaling. Journaling is a great way to process and express, release all of those thoughts and feelings that are happening during the day. Um, I'm always a fan of writing. Along the lines of writing is the gratitude list in journaling. So focusing in on um, all the good things of the day. I'm sure there are going to be plenty of bad things, right? But there are also a lot of good things, and I think the good things often get overlooked. So it's really important to pay attention to all of those good things, what you're grateful for, and what you're appreciative of. Okay. If you are getting ready for bed and you're in the bathroom, right? See if you can keep the bathroom lights dim or off. Okay, that's going to help, again, to start, slow you down, set the mood, and impair your vision so you can't see things as clearly to pick and pull. Listening to soft background music. Again, you're kind of setting the mood, you're slowing your brain and your body down. Okay. Consider nighttime barriers. And if you're using barriers like hats, bandanas, gloves, weighted blankets, you want to put all of that on before you even get into bed. So as soon as you can. Okay. Also, it's nice to have lotion or Vaseline. You can put it, on your body before bed, but also keep it by your nightstand. So if you need to reach for it, if you're feeling urgent, need to add more, it's right there. Okay. Nighttime fidgets such as stuffed animals and other soft fidgets, soft fabrics. Again, things that are going to be slow you down, things that feel good. You can wear pajamas that are soft and comfortable. And depending on where you're picking and pulling, can block you as well. A really fun strategy is also to look at photos right before bed. Ideally, not on your phone, but something printed out. So, photos of like animals or scenery, something that brings you joy. And that will help you with imagery as you're going to bed, with any kind of meditation, if you're doing meditation before bed. Okay. And form a bedtime routine. Okay. Have a bedtime routine and adjust the timing and order of how you get ready for bed as needed. Okay, so we're going to take a closer look at that. I have a little reminder here at the bottom. Do not look at the clock. When you look at the clock, you work yourself up, you get anxious. Oh my God, it's this time. I can't believe it's this time. I'm not asleep. um, you are not going to fall asleep if you're staring at the clock. Okay, so do not look at the clock. So I want to take a closer look now at bedtime routines and sleep hygiene because this plays such an important role. So this list was taken from the Sleep Foundation, and I wanted to share it with you. I think it's a really important and helpful list. So having a set bedtime routine and maintaining a steady sleep schedule. Right. So whatever your bedtime routine is, see if you can do it every night. Keep it consistent. When you're consistent, your body knows, okay, it's time for bed. It sees the signals. Okay, so it's going to start winding down. Ways to help yourself wind down. Practice some relaxation techniques. So, as we mentioned, breathing, body scans. There's also progressive muscle relaxation, right? Find things that you find relaxing, okay, that you can practice to wind down. Avoid alcohol, tobacco, sugar, caffeine in the evenings. Okay, that's going to impact your sleep. Dimming the lights, putting away electronic devices for at least 1 hour or more before bed. If you cannot do that, and you really have to look at electronic devices, change the screen. Change the screen so it's at nighttime mode, so it's really dim. Okay, you want to keep everything dim. Getting regular exercise and natural light exposure during the day. So again, we sleep better at night if we're mindful of what's happening during the day. So making sure you're getting exercise, right? Having that healthy light exposure. Okay. Also eating healthy foods during the day and regular meals. It's going to help you sleep better. When you're getting ready for bed, be very mindful of your comfort level, right? So what I mean is, how is your mattress? Do you need to make any adjustments? How is your pillow? Do you need more pillows? Do you need less pillows? Different pillows, right? How does the bedding feel on your skin? Okay, what is your room temperature? All of these things are going to impact your sleep. Okay, in addition to light, so blocking out excess light and sound. So you could use blackout curtains, eye masks, sound machines, or a fan, or again, light music in the background can be really helpful. So you want to find the best routine and kind of bedroom arrangement that makes the most sense for you and your lifestyle. And it does take some trial and error, but do what you can and see what you discover. Okay. I want to ask you guys. I have another. Oh, I never even ended this poll. Oh my goodness. Okay. These were the responses from poll number one. Okay. Poll number two. So I want to ask you, what strategies are you using or would you like to try for this week? Okay. Let's see. I'm going to give everyone a little bit. See if you can write it in. Yeah, people are slowly writing in. What strategies are you using or would like to try for this week? All right. Your answers are not popping up, so I might have to end poll in order for the answers to pop up. But we're gonna give it a little more time to really think about this. And your answer could be something that we went over. It could be something new, something different. Give it, I'm gonna give it like another 20 seconds or so. Okay, a couple more coming in. Okay. Oops, what happened? Ah! Oh, people, okay, here. So what strategies? So we have dimming the lights in my bathroom and living room. Also stretching before bed. Excellent. Oh, I set my alarm for 2 hours before bedtime because that's how long it takes me to wind down from the day. Yes, really good thinking. Move from the couch to the bed when sleepy. Good. Putting away electronics, relaxation techniques, regular exercise. Excellent. Yes, go to bed earlier and scroll less on my phone before bed. Yup. I implement a quiet time in my household an hour prior to anticipating sleep time. Ooh, I really like that. Yeah, I like that. Having quiet time before bed. Looking at photos, great. Go to bed earlier. No screen, 1 hour. Meditation before bed. Weighted blanket. Try dimming iPad screen. Excellent. Breathing techniques. Reading, listening to music. Reading before bed instead of social media. Oh, there's lots. Um, avoiding stimulation afternoon. Okay. Wearing a bonnet at night. Great. On school nights, need to go to sleep earlier and incorporate reducing screen time, less alcohol, gratitude list, stretching, meditation. I use meditation, chamomile tea. Oh, yes, tea, body scans, regular eating times, making an effort to make a nice and relaxing environment before bed, taking the time to wind down at a specific time. Yes, cut off electronics and phone. I'm loving these before bed. Avoid sweets. Yep, healthier during the day. Listen to sleep stories or guided meditation. I like that one. Meditation and reduce screen time right before bed, maybe using lotion at night. Great. First thing in the morning to avoid picking body scans and blackout curtains. Yep. I'm going to try to dim the lights. Oh, I didn't know that helped. Good. And try journaling, having a good sleep schedule. Excellent. Okay. Let's see if I can. Okay, perfect. Get back to this. Okay. Really good ones, guys. I love these ideas. So I hope that this helped. And you got some ideas and just sharing what you guys are doing. Hopefully you'll get ideas from each other as well. Okay, so as we've learned, sleep is a vital part of body and brain in recovery, right? And that's what impacts our daily functioning. So poor quality or amount of sleep impacts urges and abilities to manage them. Urges and engaging in picking and pulling can delay sleep and impact quality of sleep. right? Consider experimenting with practical strategies to help yourself unwind and transition to sleep. Transitions are big. Urges are always higher during transitions. So sleep is a really big transition. So it's really important to be mindful of that transition. Having a healthy bedtime routine and willingness to adjust your bedtime routine if you need. So that's going to help with your sleeping patterns and urges. If something is not working, adjust it. It's okay. Have self compassion, have flexibility with yourself, and keep trying. Okay. So I hope you found this helpful. Please continue joining our monthly webinars. They're free online forums, blogs, Facebook groups, Instagram, TikTok. You know, stay connected. We have lots of resources. Okay. If you are interested in the program, we have the Skin Pick program and the Trick Stop program. So please contact our customer service if you want more information. We do have a $100 discount, webinar 100. So again, just contact us, support@skinpick.com or support@trickstop.com. So I want to take some time to answer your questions. I'm going to stop the screen share just so I can just focus on you and your questions. I'm not going to answer anyone's raised hands, but please write in the Q&A. Okay. Um, okay, so let me go to the Q&A and I will answer your questions the best that I can. I've heard that women, AFAB people, need more sleep during certain phases of their cycle. Is that why they might pick during those phases of their cycle? Um, yeah, so I mean, that's a really good point. When you're menstruating, it affects so many parts of our body, right? Our hormone levels are changing. So absolutely that's going to affect sleep. So when it's around your menstruation, before, during, and after, that's a really good time to pay extra attention to your sleep hygiene and your needs because you might have to adjust during that time. So yes, a really good thing to be extra aware of. Okay. Um, I'm not sure what this question is. Will you share the receipt writing? I'm not sure what you're asking. Maybe you can reword it and resubmit it. Okay. Yeah, so again, questions right now we're going to be focusing on just BFRBs and sleep, on this topic of sleep and sleep hygiene. So if it's a general question, I'm seeing a couple of general ones. I would love to answer them right now, but I'm going to save them because we do have a general question and answer webinar. I believe the next one's coming up in May, so stay tuned for that one. So I will ask general questions. I will answer general questions during that webinar. Okay. Yeah, so I believe there's a Facebook page. Give it a search for, TrickStop. It should say TrickStop or SkinPick. TrickStop.com or SkinPick.com. Okay. If you can't find it, email us again at the support emails and we'll send you a link. Okay. We'll get that information to you. Yes. So this webinar was recorded. So if you missed it or if you only were able to watch part of it, the whole thing was recorded and it will be emailed out to you. And it's also on our YouTube channel. So you can always rewatch it. And you can rewatch it as many times as you'd like. Yeah. So, what strategies do you have for those of us who pick our skin, not on the face, without being aware that we're doing it? So, um, when you're picking at night or asleep, right? If you're asleep, you're not going to be aware because you're asleep. So, for when you're sleeping and picking and you're not aware, barriers are your friends to block you if you're not aware while you're sleeping. Okay. If you're not aware and you're going to sleep, we encourage a lot of strategies to help increase awareness. So, for example, things like tracking and monitoring helps to increase your awareness. So you can learn your patterns so you know what they are for the future so you can better manage and address them. Okay. If tracking and monitoring is not your thing, you can also think about something like the Keen Habit Aware, um, depending on where you're picking, because it's not so good for picking kind of below the shoulders, I think, but could be something to look into because it helps to, again, increase awareness. Okay. Um, but I would mainly say if you're not aware and you're picking at night, barriers. Um, Not only do they block you, but when they block you, it kind of helps to bring about awareness. Oh, I was blocked. Oh, look at that. I went to pick in that spot. Right. So that's a really helpful way. Oh yeah. So what are some strategies to prevent from pulling while transitioning for to sleep for teens? So the same strategies that we went over, all of those strategies will work for teens as well. It's a little bit of a trial and error, so you have to see what they like and what works for them. But yeah, transitions are hard. Um, I like the idea that someone um, commented on of having a quiet time before bedtime. I think for kids and teens, that's especially important and really valuable. That will help with that kind of slowing down process. So it's not active, active, active. Okay, bed. It's active, 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 and kind of slowly unwind, changing to a quieter activity. Um, I think that's a really nice way um, for anyone, but especially kids and teens. So I want to highlight that particular strategy. Okay. Yeah. So I've been skin picking since a child and have not found a trigger. There are many triggers, by the way, many, many triggers, which makes it very complicated. So just found it's this person says just found out it's considered a stim. It's not considered a stim. It's different. It can be a stim for some people, but it's not necessarily a stim. There's a difference. But I've had insomnia for 20 years. Any suggestions on how to stop or keep track them? Yeah, so if you want to try to learn more, it sounds like you're still trying to figure out what your triggers are, and there are so many triggers, right? So because there are so many potential triggers, we encourage people to do some self-monitoring or tracking. That's a really great way to help increase your awareness, to be extra mindful of what's going on, and to learn your patterns. Once you kind of learn a little bit more about what's going on, that's going to help you to know which strategy you want to try and what direction you want to go for management. And hopefully, as you're learning more about your patterns and your triggers, that's going to help you get closer to getting more relaxation and finding ways to work on your sleep and improve your sleep. Okay. So when you're tracking, you want to kind of pay attention to thoughts and feelings triggers, situation triggers. Um, where are you where are you picking? What's happening? What are you doing after? Right. So these are kind of some things to be pay extra attention to. Okay. They have I'm sure online you can get free tracking charts self-monitoring charts. Part of our program, we have a self-monitoring section where you can interact with your therapist and they can help guide you as you are monitoring and learning about your patterns. So something to consider. Um, oh, how do you stay consistent with sleep when you have ADHD? Yeah, it's definitely an added obstacle. Routine, structure, and routine. Um, the more structured you keep yourself, and keep yourself organized, structured, right? You're doing the same thing every night at the same time. That's going to help your body get used to it. Okay. Um, it's going to get used to those patterns. It's going to get used to that schedule, and it's going to start to kind of do it automatically. So with sleep and ADHD, structure, organization, routine, and again, that wind down at night, to really focus on things that are going to help to relax the mind and relax the body. Okay. Um, Similar to charting, I would say I would say having physical charts. You're not charting your picking or your pulling, but you're charting your routine. So having your routine listed out, so you can kind of check things off. Maybe it's on a board or something small on a post-it note, depending on your home situation. Um, but having it written down so you can know what it is. You don't have to think about it. It's right there. What do I do next? I refer to my list, my chart, and I can check it off or put a star, whatever you'd prefer. So that's what I would suggest for sleep and ADHD. If you're interested in learning more about the program, again, please contact support@skinpick.com or support@trickstop.com. Someone is asking how much the program is. The prices vary. There are discounts. I think there's some financial aid options. We want to make it accessible and affordable. So just send them an email and just see what's kind of works for you. There are also different tiers you can sign up for. There's a weekly, there's an everyday, there's a weekly, there's resource only, although the resource only I think is recommended only if you go through the program. But there are options. So check it out. See if any of them work for you. Thank you very much for your advice and taking the time to discuss this. You're welcome. To the person who asked about help for teens, oh yeah, someone has a suggestion. May I recommend, as someone who picked very obsessively as a teen, um, completely destructive activities which were safe or allowed really helped me, such as, yep, so ripping up old t-shirts, unpicking some knitting, ripping cardboard, burning old journals and notes, like a little camping barbecue. Yep. Um, something something that filled that need, um, to be in control as a destruct too. Yeah, those are really great suggestions. I don't necessarily recommend those for right before bed, but certainly to work on skills and strategies during the day. Some of these during the day. Um, because at night we want to start again unwinding. So these are really great strategies. Be mindful of strategies you are doing during the day versus at night as you're winding down because they may be different. Okay. Um, Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of couple of general questions. So for general questions, I'm going to answer at our general Q&A session, which will be in May. I'm not sure which day yet, so stay tuned. Okay, and I'll be happy to answer any general questions during that webinar. Any other questions? related to BFRBs and sleep hygiene. Okay. Seeing some thank yous. I hope you enjoyed this and found this helpful. If other questions come up at any time, again, just email us. Okay. Support@skinpick.com or support@trickstop.com, and we'll be happy to answer any additional questions. Okay. Thank you. I think this is a new feature with the little, I'm seeing some hearts and thumbs up coming up. I love that new feature. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm sending hearts back to you and thumbs up back to you. Um, Hang in there. Keep up the good work. Um, Try different things and see what works. See what works. Okay, but go easy on yourself. Be gentle. Breathe. Okay. And we're in this together. Okay. You got it. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording.